Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel and yet another top 10 video. This week being for the top 21 best cooperative games available on the Nintendo Switch as of this video. Now, this is actually something that Nintendo really excels at, and when you start to look at their library of games, a lot of their games have really good cooperative gameplay. And in fact, a lot of the games that are on this list are actually Nintendo Switch exclusives. So yes, there was a lot of good games to pick from. And with that in mind, if I don't include one of your favorite games, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Of course, as always, this video is only my opinion. But with that in mind, let's just go and jump right into the video. And to start this list off, I have a puzzle game by the name of Death Squared, which is best played in cooperative. You're really going to have to work as a team here to solve all of the mind-bending puzzles. And, I mean, as the name implies, there's going to be plenty of death along the way. This game can be difficult at times, especially the further you get into it. But this is really a fun puzzle game that's going to have lots of laughs along the way. And as they always say, two minds works better than one. That fits perfectly with puzzle-style games. Now, in recent years, one thing that we've really seen is the rise in popularity when it comes to Metroidvania-style games. There's a lot of good Metroidvania-style games out there, whether that be Hollow Knight, you have Ori and the Blind Forest, you have Metroid, and the list just kind of goes on and on. But one game that's always kind of stuck out to me is Cave Story. This is a game that I played a long time ago, and I absolutely adored it. I enjoyed its story. It has interesting characters. The shooting mechanics feel great. I like the platforming. And the cool thing about this game is that you can play the complete game in local co-op. And I mean, Cave Story was already a good Metroidvania as it is, as you unlock all these different abilities, but now you can do all that together. One of the most overlooked Nintendo Switch games, especially for co-op, would be Resident Evil Revelations 2. Now, the mainline Resident Evil games have always been incredibly popular, but with Revelations being a spin-off, these games have went a bit under the radar much of the time. But in terms of co-op, Revelations 2 is actually really good. Not only can you play its story cooperatively, which is already well worth noting, but you also have raid mode with more than 200 missions available to play completely cooperatively. These are short-based missions where you can play as various different characters, all with their own unique abilities. So there's quite a bit of content here. It's a lot of fun, whether you want to play its story or its raid mode. And if you like the Resident Evil franchise, then you might want to check out Resident Evil Revelations 2. At the beginning of the video, I did say that Nintendo excels when it comes to cooperative style games, and Kirby Star's Allies is one of the first games that's going to come to mind that really proves that. Kirby All-Stars Allies is a relaxing 2D adventure with plenty of experimentation. You can play up to 4 players cooperatively, and because of the experimentation that Kirby allows, each character can have their own unique ability and powers. Now, this game is a little bit on the easier side of things, which is great for the younger audience, or maybe you just don't want an overly stressful game. And I think Kirby Star's Allies is a great game for that type of experience. For that matter, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and combine this spot with Yoshi's Crafted World as well. This is yet another Nintendo 2D platformer that you can play cooperatively with friends. This game, though, is probably one of the most adorable games that I've ever seen, with some light puzzle elements to it and some pretty relaxing platforming as well. Again, this game is not overly difficult, but still a joy to play through from beginning to end. A lot of the time, some of the best cooperative games are the ones built from the ground up with cooperative in mind, and Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime is exactly that. This game has you exploring a colorful galaxy in this neon battleship where you're really going to have to work together as a team. You're going to have to travel back and forth in this weird little ship to man different turrets. There's lasers, shields, thrusters, you have different weapons and engines, and there's a lot going on in Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. And I think the thing that stands out the most when it comes to this game, everybody's going to play an important role. And that's the beauty when it comes to this game, because when you have good teamwork, everybody just has an absolute blast. Snipperclips is one of the first games that released for the Nintendo Switch, and even all of these years later, it still stands out to me. This is yet another puzzle game, but it's quite a bit different than other games within the genre. It's just so varied when it comes to all of its different puzzles, and the way it works is you're going to have to work together as a team to cut each other and then complete various goals that's given to you through each level. It always offers something just a little bit different to keep your minds engaged, and because it oozes so much personality and charm. It's always fun to play together or actually competitively as well. There is a competitive component in this game that really allows you and your entire family to just enjoy this game together. And here I have the blue dude with the tood, Sonic the Hedgehog, or actually I have two separate Sonic games here, being Team Sonic Racing and then Sonic Mania. Now, when it comes to Team Sonic Racing, this is a really fun kart racer that I think is a bit underrated. It really seems to go a little bit more under the radar compared to your Mario Kart types of games, but this one offers something just a bit different within the genre. Instead of focusing on only yourself while racing, you actually have a team to help out as well. This includes things like sharing items as well as leaving a slipstream behind you for your team to then drive in to make themselves go even faster. It's a whole different dynamic for kart racing, but I really like it and I do think it's a lot of fun. Now, as for Sonic Mania, this is more of your traditional Sonic game that came straight from the 90s. In Sonic Mania, you can either play this one competitively or cooperatively. In co-op, you can play as Sonic and Tails, whereas competitively, you're going to be racing against each other, choosing from a number of characters, whether it be Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, as well as others. Either way, both of these games are really fun, especially if you like the Sonic franchise. The Zelda franchise is loved for a lot of different reasons, and well, I guess now you can kind of throw co-op on that list as well, because Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a surprisingly very good cooperative game. Hyrule Warriors, of course, is a crossover between the Dynasty Warriors franchise and then Zelda. And you know what? This actually surprisingly works very well. The world of Zelda really fits in with this hack and slash gameplay as they try to make you feel like a one-person army, or in this case, if you play co-op, a two-person army. It's just an absolute blast to play this game together, and thanks to the varied amount of characters within the Zelda universe that you can play as, it's always offering something fresh and new as well. Each character does have their own unique playstyle, keeping things fresh and rewarding, and then to just kind of top it off, Age of Calamity also has a pretty decent story as well. And here I have the zany, over-the-top WarioWare Get It Together. Yes, this game is very weird to say the least, but it's also very fun with its quirky gameplay, and while this game can be played solo, it's best played together. Now, the way this game works is that you have over 200 micro mini-games, which you only have about 5 seconds to complete each level. Once you beat a mini-game, you'll immediately be put into the next one to then complete that one as well. This is going to make your mind work in hyperspeed, as you're really going to have to work together to complete each individual goal. And then to just kind of add an extra layer, you have various characters with all having their own unique ability. So you're really going to have to think quick on your feet here and work together as you try to break your own record in completing the most levels you possibly can. Untitled Goose Game is one of those games that it almost seems like it's odd on paper, but then you play it and then you realize just how hilariously fun it actually is. Basically, when it comes to this game, you play as a jerk of a goose that has a singular mission, and that is to terrorize everybody around you. Really though, it's actually a cleverly built puzzle game with some stealth elements thrown in. As you go to destination, you're going to have to solve a puzzle that's both fun as well as hilarious to see how it plays out. More often than not, completing a puzzle or getting to the next destination involves you terrorizing, pulling off several different hijinks on villagers to get you to the next destination. There's really just so much charm when it comes to this game, and what's better being one jerk of a goose is actually being two jerk geese together. You don't often think about turn-based RPGs when you think about good cooperative experiences, but there's actually some good cooperative turn-based games out there, including Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, truthfully, I would say that Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of the best RPGs that's released within the last decade, easily. It is a fantastic RPG with an epic story, and the cool thing about this is that you can actually share this experience with up to 4 players online. Yeah, you're going to be able to go through the epic story of Divinity Original Sin 2 together, as each one of you can create your own character and then drop in and drop out at any time you want. It's not only a fantastic way to play a game like this where you have to juggle multiple AI characters, but because Divinity Original Sin 2 has so much depth as an RPG, there's really not many games better than Divinity Original Sin 2, whether you play in single player or especially co-op. The first thing anybody and everybody notices about Cuphead is it is just absolutely gorgeous to look at in motion, thanks to that Disney-esque cartoon art style. It is absolutely spot on in terms of its visuals, but the thing about Cuphead is that it's actually a really fun game as well, and especially when you play with a friend. See, Cuphead does have a friend named Mugman, so you can play this one completely cooperative from beginning to end, and I mean, you're really going to have to work together in a team on this one, though, because this one is a very challenging run-and-gun platformer. Yeah, don't be fooled by those cartoony graphics, because this is a very challenging game with brilliantly designed boss encounters. This one kind of reminds me of an old-school arcade game in a way, challenge included, and well, that's why it's going to be paramount to have good teamwork when it comes to Cuphead. Splatoon 2 might most well be known for its competitive gameplay, but actually it also has a really good cooperative mode, the Salmon Run. In Salmon Run, instead of competing against opposing players, you actually have to work together in a horde mode type of gameplay. You're going to have to use coordinated teamwork and communication to defeat waves of salmonids. The Salmon Run will have 3 different waves of you fighting off hordes and hordes of salmonids as well as different bosses to collect different golden eggs that you then have to deposit to then meet your quota to go on to the next wave. This one's a lot of fun, and thanks to Splatoon's unique style of gameplay, once again, you're really not going to find other games that plays just like this. As a third-person shooter, Splatoon 2 is just completely different than everything else in the market, and it has its own strategies, as you can just kind of swim in the paint, you can climb up walls, you have all this platforming going on, and this translates very well, whether that be in its competitive multiplayer, it has a good single-player game mode, and it also has a fun and addictive cooperative game mode in Salmon Run as well. The Mario Party franchise has been a long-running and beloved series among families across the world. In fact, these are some games that I grew up playing, and I had an absolute blast with these games on the Nintendo 64 and GameCube playing with my family. And well, now they have Super Mario Party available on the Nintendo Switch, and this one is just a little bit different in the sense that it actually focuses a lot on motion controls. Now, some people are going to like that and some people won't, but per usual, Super Mario Party will have plenty of mini games, plenty of game modes, whether that be competitive or cooperative, and it's accessible enough for pretty much anybody to just jump in and play right away, whether they've been playing games their whole life or whether they're playing their first game ever. Super Mario Party is a game that can be enjoyed by anyone and everyone, and that is one of the things that makes Super Mario Party just such a good party game. Now, also, there is another entry releasing later this year being Mario Party Superstars, and that one seems to be going a little bit back towards the classic formula instead of focusing on motion controls, so do keep that one in mind as well. And next up here I have Luigi's Mansion 3, which has you playing as the scaredy cat brother, Luigi. Luigi once again is forced to save his friends from the nightly terrors in a haunted mansion, or in this case, actually a haunted hotel. And the amount of variety that you can see in a hotel like this is actually pretty crazy. 3 things that really stood out to me when it comes to Luigi's Mansion 3 is that 1, graphically, this game really pops off the Nintendo Switch, especially in handheld mode. 2 is that each floor that you travel to is just so vastly different. And in 3, the boss encounters are just so well crafted. Luigi's Mansion 3 is just flat out a really good game. On each floor, you're not only going to have to search for your kidnapped friends, but you're also going to be searching for elevator buttons so you can then travel to the next floor. This is going to require solving several different puzzles and then also beating up all the baddies along the way. And well, the cool thing about all this is that you can actually do all this cooperatively by one of you playing as Luigi while the other plays as Gooigi. Luigi and Gooigi does have slightly different abilities. As an example, Gooigi will be able to fit through tight bars or go through spikes, which will allow you to solve various puzzles. Now, here I have a couple of dungeon crawlers that's just insanely fun to play together, being Diablo 3 and then Minecraft Dungeons. And both of these games are going to be fighting off waves and waves of enemies together. You're going to be able to build the character that you want thanks to that RPG element, and there's going to be plenty of loot to find along the way. Now, this is where I would say the two kind of differ here. I do think that both of these are excellent cooperative dungeon crawlers, but I would say that Diablo 3 is a little bit more complex out of the two because you can just build your character out to an insane degree, whereas I think Minecraft Dungeons is a little bit more accessible. But again, both these games are very fun, and you can use some strategy in how you build your character alongside your team. And next up here, I have several different beat-em-up style games being Streets of Rage 4, River City Girls, and then Castle Crashers. The truth is, Beat-em-up style games have always felt perfect to play in cooperative, all the way back to the arcade days, and there's some really good beat-em-up style games out right now, including all 3 of these games. All 3 of these games excel at different things. You have Streets of Rage 4, which is challenging and has various characters, all with their own unique abilities. I love the combo system in this game, and depending on which character you play as, it always feels just a little bit different. Then you have River City Girls, which has a little bit more of a focus on its story, and it's just got an over-the-top, goofy style of story. I also think that that one has fun combat and a gorgeous art style. And then last but not least, you do have Castle Crashers, which is a timeless classic for a reason. On top of its melee style of combat, you also have some magic and RPG elements in Castle Crashers, which adds just a little extra layer there. I also really like the boss encounters in this game, but really, I'd say all 3 of these games are among the best beat-em-up style games to date, and they are fantastic games to play together. And here's the game that my family and I have probably had the most fun playing together, and that would be Overcooked 2. This game is just absolute pure chaos. The way this game works is that you're put into all these crazy, brilliantly designed kitchens, and then you're supposed to run a restaurant-style kitchen and fix food for your customers. I mean, sure, it sounds like it'd be simple on paper, but thanks to its brilliant design kitchens, you're really going to need to coordinate well with your team in order to maximize your ranking here. Teamwork and coordination is essential when it comes to Overcooked 2. The thing about this game, though, is that it's one of those special games that pretty much anybody can just jump in and play, whether you're into gaming or not. Overcooked is just one of those games that's an absolute blast to play together when you have people over. Now, with that in mind, though, I will go ahead and also recommend moving out. I don't think that this game's necessarily as good as Overcooked, but it does have some similarities. But instead of running a kitchen, you're instead moving furniture for a company. They do have some similarities, so you might want to check that one out as well. And here I have a couple of builder type of games with the ever popular Minecraft, and then also Dragon Quest Builders. Minecraft is obviously going to be the much more popular game here, and whether you want to play together in survival mode, or if you want to play together and just kind of build your own utopia, you can do whatever you want in this game. It really is your virtual style Lego game, and kids love this game for a reason. You can just unlock so much creativity when it comes to the world of Minecraft. And I do like that it offers several ways to play, whether you just want to be creative or whether you want to fight off hordes of zombies in a survival style of world. As for Dragon Quest Builders 2, this is an interesting title that is similar to Minecraft in some ways. Its single-player component is a little bit more focused than Minecraft with a legitimate JRPG type of story, but you can also invite people to a vacant island to just build whatever your heart desires. So if you're looking for something just a little bit different than Minecraft, I went ahead and included Dragon Quest Builders 2, though Minecraft is going to offer more options in how you want to play. Fans have been wanting a good Monster Hunter game on the Nintendo Switch for a little while now, and now we finally have it with Monster Hunter Rise. In fact, Monster Hunter Rise actually improves on the series in several different aspects. Sure, it's still got the same gameplay loop that we all know and love. You go out and fight all these behemoths of monsters. They all have their own unique behaviors. You have several different weapons with their own unique play styles, and you need to hunt these monsters down to upgrade those weapons. It's still just as addictive as ever, but Monster Hunter Rise also really improved in the aspect of traversal. You now have a Palamute, which is this dog-like companion that you can ride around on to get you to location to location just a little bit faster, and then you also have these wire bugs, which adds an extra layer to the Monster Hunter games. There's more verticality in this game than ever before, but you can also use these wire bugs in combat to kind of zip around back and forth. Maybe you get knocked down and then also use the wire bug to just zip right back into combat. It's a lot of fun, and especially once you can master that style of combat. But one thing that this game truly excels at is with its cooperative gameplay. Hunting down these monsters together is, in my opinion, the best way to play Monster Hunter Rise, which right now is one of the best games available on the Nintendo Switch. And at the #1 spot, I have none other than the Mario franchise. I really couldn't just include one Mario game here because there's just so many good entries in this franchise. Of course, you have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is arguably one of the best kart racers of all time. Then you have New Super Mario Bros. U for 2D platforming, and this one is just pure chaos to play together. I would say that in terms of 2D platformers, this is my favorite to play cooperatively because it does offer that Nintendo flavor where they just add that little extra bit of chaos to it as you kind of stumble over each other as you're platforming. Then you have Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which released earlier this year. This is kind of a mix of 3D Mario with your 2D Mario. You have Super Mario Maker 2, which is good for you creative fans out there. You also have Mario Odyssey, which is good for 3D platforming fans, though I would recommend other Mario games in terms of cooperative gameplay. Nonetheless, though, Mario is a very accessible franchise. They're insanely fun, and there's a reason that Mario is one of the most known mascots in the entire world. Anyways, though, that's it for this list, but if I did forget to mention any of your favorite games, make sure to let me know in the comments below. With that said, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.